Welcome back to Let's Talk Whisky with me, Kevin. Another new bottling today, one that's not been opened, and the best time to open it is for you guys and do a review and an uncorking. So first and foremost, I'll get this opened up, give it a little bit of time to breathe, to open some of the flavours in there. See if we can get a good pop first though. So I think that's the best of the year so far. So get this in the glass. So I'm on brand today, as you can see. So this is the Tomatin Legacy. I've got my Tomatin hat, I've got my Tomatin hoodie on, and I've got my Tomatin glass as well. This, if it looks out of sync and it sounds a little bit different, after the video finished, I noticed that my mic cut out just halfway through. So apologies if the audio is different and you've maybe thought the screen's jumped. It's not. So what I did say, I can't get it back unfortunately, so we'll get back into it. As I've just said, I'm on brand. I'm trying to edit from there. I'm on brand with all my stuff here. Tomatin Legacy, Highland single malt from Inverness. Distillery founded in 1897 and the Legacy was founded in 2013. Graham Unson, master distiller there, when he joined, wanted to revamp the core range. So he joined Tomatin in 2013. One of the amazing things about Tomatin is the majority of the workforce live on site. So only distillery, I'm sure, in Scotland, which still houses their staff or some of their staff. And I think, closer to 70% of staff live on site. They've got 30 to 40 cottages there. So they're able to walk to work and walk home from work, which is a pretty cool thing. The Legacy was brought in with this amazing kind of backdrop to it that Graham didn't decide to come in and just put something out to the market straight away to make an impact. Graham worked behind the scenes. He made a few different styles of whisky, put them more or less in, I think it was 3 different whiskies, and put them in little vials or bottles, and he sent them home with the staff, and maybe number 1, 2 and 3 we'll call it. He let the staff go home that lived on site and to try them themselves with family and friends. What they were to do was to enjoy them and to come back and give their vote to Graham to say what they thought was their favourite. The one with the highest votes is what won, and this is how we have the Legacy here today. So Legacy is refill bourbon in virgin oak casks. We have 85% refill bourbon and 15% virgin oak. There's no sherry influence in here at all. It's all refill bourbon, 43% ABV. It does have a little bit of colour and it is lightly filtered as well. The colour is to keep it consistent because of the ABV. They want to keep it looking over time because the refill cask and the virgin oak cask can be different. Every cask is built differently. Even though on site there's a cooperage there, it's still hard to find out what's going on inside when the liquid interacts with that wood. There is no age statement to this whisky, but we do know it's going to be over 3 years old, but I think it's between 3 and 8. So we're going to look between maybe 5 and a little bit more on this whisky. Refill bourbon, it means it's had spirit in there before, and virgin oak's never had spirit in there, so 15% of virgin oak. I think we just need to get into this now, don't we? I know I've made a little bit of a mess at the start because I need to charge my mic. I should have thought of this before. So I already had a little bit, but I'll try and go back to it again. So let's get into the colour first of all. Light straw, nice and light colour. It's easy to look at. You would think it's bourbon cask all day. It's hard to kind of tell sometimes with virgin oak, but definitely just a full bourbon influence there. Legs on it, it's the beading is coming down a little bit quicker, but that is expected from a filtered whisky to an extent and a lighter ABV. So I'm going to get this on the nose. And straight away, it's like white chocolate. There's a kind of grape juice as well, maybe. It's like a syrup, like a maple syrup softness to it as well. A ginger biscuit as well, like a ginger snap. There's a little bit of kind of wood influence in there. Again, that's because it's maybe young, but it is not an overpowering oakness to it. So white chocolate, grape, syrup, a little bit of wood. It's a fantastic nose. This is going to be one for Mr. Peathead Frank. I know you're not the biggest sherry man, but this here could be the whiskey that you might enjoy. So fantastic nose, ticks all the boxes for me. It's a whiskey style that I really, really enjoy. We'll get this on the palate, so slange your own. It's great, it's light, it's got a freshness to it. The mouthfeel is there to an extent. You can tell that it's not the 46%, but it doesn't need to be. The flavour's still there, and it's bizarre because a lot of the time I get something on the nose and different on the palate, but that white chocolate note follows onto the palate. I've not had any chocolate today as well, but it's just something that's kind of just clicked on the nose and on the palate there. There's a kind of digestive biscuits note to it as well, like a kind of sweeter biscuit note to it. It's got that kind of soft syrupy thing from your tin fruits, which I get a lot from bourbon casks as well. And it's young, but not super young. So I think we're going to be looking maybe above the 5, maybe 6 or so years on this. I love the nose on it. This is a whiskey that I think, if you're not too sure, you maybe an introduction to whiskey, to start here. Start kind of more on the lighter side, because whiskies can be super, super sherried, which I enjoy at times as well. But if you're looking to just kind of get what the DNA of a distillery is, I always think a refill bourbon cask is a great way to go. And this is an absolute great example of how refill bourbon casks and a little bit of virgin oak can be used. The DNA is still there of Tomatin because it's got such a long fermentation process. The fermentation process is about 160 to 165 hours, I think it is, that they run. So you're sitting with such a long process, breaking everything down, and it's got that little bit to it. There's a rhubarb note that you get with Tomatin New Make Spirit, and you can kind of just get it through there. It's more the kind of sugar to sweetness side to it. But that nose of that white chocolate grape, tiny bit of ginger snap, that bourbon cask-esque, if you just smell a kind of bourbon on its own as well, from afar, not putting your nose right in, but just kind of getting a whiff of it. There's that little bit there, so you know the bourbon influence is on it. It's great. It's a style of whiskey I love. This is for coming into summer. I like it on its own. You could have this on the rocks. Great to mix into cocktails. A super versatile whiskey. Great bottle. I love the shape. I love the branding on it, the etching on the back. Everything we need to know on it as well. And the story behind it is fantastic. This retails around about £30–35. Easy one to put on the shelf for me. And this is where I picked all my stuff up when I was up there, and I done a tour in February last month. Fantastic whiskey. But I'm going to go and sit back, enjoy this, try and edit this video now to make it all in sync. So again, I apologise if the quality is a little bit different now because it started with a mic and now there's no mic there. But I'll make sure I'll be fine for next week. But again, everyone, thanks for tuning in, thanks for sticking around, and as always, let's talk whiskey. Slange.